My favorite New Year's Eve. It is not what you would expect. I did not go to any wild parties that night. In fact, I started out, I was quite lonely and depressed. I had just moved into an unfamiliar city, St. Louis, Missouri, where I started a computer programming project. I didn't know anybody in town, didn't know any place to go, and to make matters even worse, it was frigidly cold outside. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, those who have lived in the Midwest know that when it gets cold there, it gets a lot colder than it gets here in the West Coast. But I had just moved into a furnished room. I had no food in the place. I had to brave that bitter cold, walk a couple of blocks to my car, drive a couple of miles to the supermarket, brave the cold again from the parking lot into the supermarket, get enough food for a couple of days. And when I went back into the cold, I was approached by a haggard-looking stranger. I was sure he was going to ask me for money. Could you help me jumpstart my car? Okay, I said. Let me just pull my car up to where yours is parked. But when I was walking back to my car, I had no intention of helping him. I just wanted to take care of my own cold, depressed self. And yet, when I got in the car, I thought, it's New Year's Eve. Try to start the year out right. So I actually did drive over to where he was parked. He didn't expect me to help him either. It's okay. I shouldn't have asked. I don't even think it's a dead battery, because when I turned the ignition, nothing happens. And he showed me. He turned the ignition. Nothing. Besides, I don't even have the equipment. I could tell this was a good man who was down on his luck. It would be such a shame if he was stuck all night long, all alone with only his non-functioning car to give him the minimal protection from that bitter cold. And besides, I did have jumper cables, and I knew this could possibly be the symptom of a dead battery. So I finally convinced them to let me try. I hooked up those jumper cables. Again, he turned the ignition, and the car roared to life. He was so appreciative that he wanted to pay me something, but I absolutely refused because he had already done enough for me. That's right. He had done enough for me. This is why I so seldomly talk about it, even though it's a cherished memory. I don't want to come across like I'm bragging about what a great guy I was. I've had other opportunities, but I always just cared about my own comfort, and I drove away. That night, all I did different was I braved the cold for a couple of minutes. I helped jumpstart a dead battery. It's not that hard if you know what you're doing. So what was it that I gained? Well, allow me to digress a second and just mention that I was never a great athlete. Surprised? But I always wondered, what must it feel like to hit that game-winning home run? Well, when that car roared to life, a thrill of excitement went through me. I was jumping up and down just like athletes do after they make the big play. I knew what it felt like to suddenly be a winner. Yes, I went home that night. I was still alone in an unfamiliar town, didn't know anybody there, didn't know any place to go, but I wasn't depressed anymore. I was still reveling in the joy of what had happened. This story, it's not about what I gave, which is really so little. It's about what I got, and that is to understand that even the smallest deeds that you do can make you so happy. There have been other New Year's Eves where I have participated in fun activities, but those memories all seem to fade with time. Yet that cold, lonely night in St. Louis, that remains a bright memory in my mind. What I learned, and what I hope that all of you understand, is you should make doing good deeds a life objective. But don't just do them because it is the right thing to do. Do it for your own self-esteem. Do it for your own peace of mind. Madam Toastmaster. Thank you.